Perfect. We are being recorded. We are all set. So obviously, everyone that's here should know today we're here to talk about the elevation experience happening at Club Med Quebec Charlevoix. This is something that we're very excited about. It's the first time we've done this, and Charlevoix was already an extremely fun place to be in the summer to do the summer mountain experience. And adding elevation is just, I think it's just adding to the experience. So we're going to go over what that means for you guys throughout today's presentation, and we can kind of move forward from here. So obviously, as mentioned, I am Tyler. I am the Business Development Manager for Ontario and the Maritimes. I take over, or I am managing the majority of the bricks and mortars account, and then all the accounts in the Maritimes. So if you guys ever have any questions, feel free to come to me. And then this other person here, who you should all know.
You guys know me. My name's Sam. I look after the key accounts in Ontario and then new business development for Western Canada, including British Columbia and Alberta.
So what we're going to cover today throughout this presentation is the 3 different experiences that are happening during this Elevation Festival. So we start off with the Epicurean Festival, which is a huge focus on food and drinks and the local culture. We move into the Astro Circus Festival, which is a little more up in the air. And then from there, it's our wellness side of the elevation experience. So we'll cover all 3 of these and go a little more in depth on what you can experience during these different times throughout the summer and what's happening when. And then from here, we have a little video for you, and then we'll go into this description. We have a little video for you.
All right, guys. No video yet. We're going to go straight into the concept first.
Okay, there we go. Perfect. Let's do that.
Okay, so the whole concept around what elevation is going to be. So basically, we're trying to really push what Quebec Charlevoix has to offer in the summer months. So it's to experience the unique mountainside festivals and elevate your senses, view, mind, body, and soul. And what we really want you guys to focus on here is Quebec Charlevoix is a unique experience all the way around. You've heard us from the very beginning when the resort was opened up. This is the first all-inclusive in Canada. It's our first mountain resort in North America. We have a lot of firsts, and that's where the pioneering experience comes. Now, you're going to see that moving forward with elevation and the different festivities that we're going to have going on. The season now, from June until mid-July, we're going to have that Epicurean celebration, and then moving on from mid-July to mid-August, that's really where you're going to see the more the astronomy celebrations that we're going to have. And then September, October, really focused on that wellness fusion concept. So you've likely seen this in all of our other NAM properties, and we are bringing it back to Quebec Charlevoix and really enhancing the offer there. And here we go. Here's the video.
I knew it was there somewhere.
Let's take a look. So that video you can actually find on Club Med TA. We're going to have a brand new page on the Quebec Charlevoix summer page that's going to have a exclusive section just to the elevation program. So a little bit of a quick overview. Why Charlevoix from the spring to the fall? Why should you send your clients there? Number 1, it's really for that outdoor lover. It's for the person who wants to experience the entire area, anywhere from hiking to mountain biking to visiting the nearby towns, Bay St. Paul or La Malbaie, or even do something a bit more adventurous. It's an ever-changing landscape, so you can really go and do something quite leisurely to something a little bit more extreme. It's a playground for those sports lovers, kayakers, mountain bikers. If you want to do the Via Ferrata, if you want to go mountain climbing, if there's so many things that you can do that are right there close to the village. Of course, charming villages and Quebec City. Quebec City is only 90 minutes away, so it's very easy to be able to do even like a pre or post cruise stay, for example. So if you have somebody going on any of the Canada New England cruises and they want to see Quebec City and the surrounding area, pop them into Charlevoix for a couple of days as well. And then, of course, the culinary specialties, and Tyler and I can both speak to this. There's some amazing spots that you can go and experience, all the way from what we have on the resort itself, from a poutine bar to tasting some of the authentic flavors from the region, all the way to venturing off and going to see the lavender farms in the area, to eating the cheese, to having all the meats. There's so many items that are within short driving distance just from the village, and you can really enhance and entice those taste buds as well. So let's talk about the first part of the elevation program from June until mid-July. This is the Epicurean Festival. So what is this? It's all about exploring culture and heritage. And how you're going to do that is through cuisine, music, art, and more. So to give you a bit of an idea here, microbreweries, cideries, there's so many that are within an hour of where we're located. There are some top chefs that also come from the Charlevoix region. Bay St. Paul is actually the smallest city that has the largest concentration of art galleries in all of Canada. So this area itself has so much to offer, and it's really just right in our backyard. So we want you guys to get there, experience everything from the different tastes to DJ sets we're going to have on site to different live bands. Really immerse yourself in it. Taste the Charlevoix region. So this gives you an idea of what some of the resort highlights are. And I know there's a lot to read on here, but we'll have this all posted, so don't worry at all. But anything from trying the different local cuisines to maybe even trying some vegan cuisine that we've partnered with our chef Chloe, who does all of our vegan dishes throughout the North American region. Of course, there's a Canadian immersion as well, from weekly artisan markets to live cooking demonstrations. You can enhance your clients' time there as well by adding on any sort of excursions. And then you have all of the included activities and entertainment. But from that new elevation program, you're going to have little add-ons throughout the entire time that you're there, from the special apéro boards. So those are basically like charcuterie boards that we call them, and they're available daily as well as daily dishes by our new partnership with Chef Maxime Lizotti. I'm going to pronounce that wrong, and I'm sorry. You're going to have the special summer music lineup as well right on site. Cooking demonstrations as well by Chef Maxime. We're going to have gourmet tours. This is a optional excursion to add on, but trust me, do it. I've done it a couple of times, and it is one of the best things you can do, where again, you're trying those gluten-free lavender scones to having emu meat that I never thought that somebody could taste, but it is actually quite amazing. All the way from seeing what the First Nations and Indigenous have to offer in that area as well. So again, this gives you a lot of information and more information about what that actual week is going to look like. So we can look at something like the gourmet workshops, for example, where you can go and make your own charcuterie boards, or look at the different items in the forest that you can go and eat. And there's a ton of different options that we're going to have around this. These aren't an extra cost, but are going to be offered at the property. Weekly artisan markets, as mentioned before, so bring a bit of Quebec Charlevoix home with you. Live cooking demonstrations, summer beats. So this is what we talked about when we're going to have local bands and artists coming in, and that's part of our Club Med artist program. And then, of course, our nightly entertainment with the Club Med shows that everybody knows and loves. Going to skip over that one there, guys, and go straight to Chef Maxime. So here you can see exactly some of the signature dishes that he's going to do. So we're going to be jazzing this up a little bit. So from June 1st to August 31st, we're going to have a different menu that you can choose from. In Le Chalet, which is our gourmet lounge, there's going to be new charcuterie boards that you can have in there. They're going to showcase local products, and we're going to bring a lot more in. We're also going to be really paying homage to that Indigenous territory that we're on as well. And you're going to see a lot of those local flavors coming in. In Le Marché, so that is our main restaurant. That's where you're going to find dedicated dishes in there as well. And if you've been to Charlevoix before, if you've had clients who have gone, If you've watched when I've been there or Tyler's been there, you can see that the food is changing daily and also for every single meal. And now we're going to start incorporating more authentic dishes to taste that Quebec style cuisine. Here's an idea of the different artist lineups that we're going to have. Of course, this can change depending on the weeks, but this is who we have in the books right now. Personally, I'm not too familiar with some of the Quebec artists out there, but everyone that we have seen every time that we've been on property, they've been amazing. And the same thing happens when we're in France or when we go to Italy or any of our other properties where we have the Club Med Artist program. These guys really go over the top, and they are amazing bands and singers that do come in. So definitely do take advantage of this. So imagine yourself, you're sitting on the terrace in Charlevoix, you're looking over the mountainside, you have a live band playing, you're tasting one of the blueberry beers, for example, that is quite popular in the summer months, and that's by the Chamblay Brewery, right, Tyler, if I'm not mistaken?
It is Chamblay, yeah.
The blueberry beer is awesome. And it was something that I at first was like, I don't know if I want to try that. But then as soon as you get a taste of it, it is absolutely amazing. Okay, so what's available in resort, what's included, and what's at an extra cost? Of course, with the inclusions, you have the overall Club Med ambiance and entertainment and that all-day dining and F&B experience. You have the fresh and local products, and in Charlevoix, we are trying to make sure that we are getting majority of our products all from local vendors. Your live music and shows, we have the local chefs, and of course, the over 20 different sports and activities that are included. Enhance the experience, and remember that you can do this prior to your clients going. Anything that you see pre-bookable in Club Med TA, please make sure that you're adding it. That way it is that extra 10% commission to you. So anything from horseback riding to gourmet workshops, if you add on a day trip to Quebec City. On site, your clients can go ahead and book wine tastings, for example, or if in one of the specialty restaurants they want to take part in one of the extra activities with Chef Maxime, they can do that too. With any of the pop-up activities that we have in the events, these are all included. So anything from the local cider and beer tastings to artisan markets, those live cooking demonstrations, special cooking demonstrations by Chef Maxime, who is a First Nations Indigenous chef that we'll have on site, myths and legends, storytelling, and of course, local culinary tours. Now, this one is pretty funky, and we are all quite excited for it. From mid-July to the end of August of 24, we have our Astro Circus Festival. So this is all about stargazing, astronomy. We have our circus school, we have trapeze, we have over 20 hours of circus demonstrations and lessons, cosmos activities. So this is going to be totally different than what we've done before. We actually have one of our GOs from the Montreal office who's going to be leading this elevation program. He is going to be doing the cosmos activities and taking you kind of on a journey of the stars there. So what are we highlighting here? Of course, with the circus, you have your circus demonstrations, you have the lessons, anything from trapeze to hoops, fabric lessons, and those are pretty wild. Those are the fabrics that are hanging from the ceiling, and they teach you how to tie yourself in properly, how to, I don't want to say fall, but you technically do fall and then catch yourself. But these are all done by trained professionals. And then, of course, you have your circus shows at nighttime. And this show is called Carousel. It is outstanding what these performers can do. With the mountain activities, there's a mountain biking. We have 15 hikes that are available for all ages. And those hikes as well will be themed hikes. And when we say themed hikes, it depends on what season you're in. So if you're traveling in August, for example, you can take a hike that will show you what sort of mushrooms you can go and eat in the forest. Or if you go in June, it's more of a berries tour where you can see the different berries located throughout. And these are all led by a company called Forest Gourmet. They are stationed right on site with us, and they actually have their own little shop that's in the base of the mountain on Le Massif. So if you do want to take home any spruce tips or Saskatoon berry jam or anything that you taste in the forest, you can actually buy it directly from them, and it goes back to a small business in the area. You have over 20 hours of yoga, meditation, water therapies, and then We have the brand new night trail that Le Massif is putting on. So if you have been to Blue Mountain in the past and you've done these illuminated night walks, we will have that too. So it is an additional cost and you can go ahead and book it. However, your lift pass will get you onto that night trail. So you can go ahead and take the lift up and down and you can see everything from the base to the top of the mountain and come back down. Now with the new Cosmos tour, we're going to have professional telescope experiences for stargazing. We're also going to have a planetarium experience, and this is going to have different times and revolving times that clients can go in and see it. We're going to have space movie nights. There's astro yoga, yoga under the stars, and a ton of different DIY activities for the kiddos. So here's an idea of what the planetarium is going to look like, what the telescope sessions are going to look like. So with the planetarium session, so this is going to be an inflatable planetarium that we're going to have just on the outside of the terrace. You're going to have 45-minute sessions, 4 sessions per day and 5 days a week. And these are going to show you different things. So you're going to have an entire tour of all the stars around you, a mission to Mars, and a tour of the solar system, which is a 20-minute session for the kiddos. Then from there, you have the telescope sessions. And this is going to be with a professional where you have a full stargazing experience. And this area, you have the dark skies experience. So if you've been to other places that has that dark sky certification, so there's places in Ontario, you have a lot that are in the States, definitely take part in this. And if your clients are interested in doing something like this, you have it included. You don't have to go ahead and pay anything additional for it. Okay, then lastly, we're going to move on to the third part of Elevation, which is the Wellness Fusion Festival. And once again, this is something that we are heavily focused on throughout our North American properties. So from meditation, yoga, sound bowl therapy, wellness workshop, cold plunges, pop-up events, full moon nights, there's so many different things that we're going to have that are going to be incorporated into the daily schedule. Again, don't freak out about all the wording that's here, but we will load this up for you. A couple components to really focus on here if your clients are looking for that wellness experience is that over 20 hours of yoga and meditation experience. So anything from hatha to restorative to vinyasa. We're going to have full wellness nights. There's going to be journaling, sound bowling. This is something that we've picked up from our Meaches property, where we did a lot of these nighttime rituals that were happening right after dinner, and they definitely were popular, so we made sure that we brought them up over into Charlevoix for the Elevation experience. You, of course, also have our Spa by Sothies, and that is something that you can, again, go ahead and add on to your file. Once again, please make sure that you are adding it prior to your clients going, because we do have a smaller spa here and it does fill up quite quickly. It is, however, one of the best that I've been to. So keep that in mind when you are booking those spa treatments. Now, with the pop-up happening for Elevation, you have that exceptional lineup of wellness experts and yoga teachers. We will be releasing more names as we go through in the summertime, but so far we have Yoga by Heberson, and you're going to see more yoga teachers, influencers, experts coming up in the next few weeks to the next couple of months. You also have your wellness nights, sound healing, meditations. So please have your clients take part in these. Tyler's going to wrap it all up for us.
Sorry about that. I was doing this webinar outside and it started raining, so I just made an emergency switch off. So yes, we're keeping in touch. Obviously, I think you guys know this. You can always email Sam or I for anything regarding any of our Club Med questions. Our Facebook group, we heavily recommend that you're on there. We are posting at least 3 times a week, and when we're traveling, we're posting even more often. We're doing room tours, we're putting reels up, we're showing you everything that we possibly can from our tours around all the different Club Med properties and everything else that's going on. And then obviously we have our Club Med TAs, which is our Club Med agent site. It has been newly updated just within the last 2 months. So it is a new experience on there, but very easy to work your way around the entire website. But any questions that you have on agent rates, on marketing materials that we might have out, or any kind of country regulatory issues or plugs or currencies or any of that stuff, obviously we are a very global brand, so All of that information is on there for you, and we're constantly updating it as well. So, in part, obviously, I don't want to kick you guys off just yet. We are going to do a skill testing question. Sam, do we want to do that through the Facebook group? Do we want to do it on here today? What are your thoughts?
I think we'll post it on both. But what we're going to do is to give everybody a fair shot at winning the $100 gift card from joining today and also watching the webinar. We're going to give you guys until tomorrow, Friday, June 7th at 5. Well, you know what? Let's go later. Let's do Friday, June 7th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure that you watch. In the comments on Facebook, we're going to want you to answer a question, and that question is going to be, what are the 3 different festivals that will be included in the Elevation program this summer at Quebec Charlevoix? Then on Monday, we'll be going ahead and drawing a name, and then that lucky winner will get their $100 gift card. I think that sounds pretty fair, right?
I feel like me and Sam are actually going away on Monday. We're going to take a trip down to Martinique and have a fun little conference down there. Maybe we should give away a 45 from Bucks as well.
Okay, I'm in.
Sweet.
45 shirt and $100. But make sure that you watch by this Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, and we will post this on Facebook as well right after. And again, that skill testing question is, what are the 3 different festivals that are happening during Elevation this summer in Quebec Charlevoix? If you guys have any questions at all for us, now is the time to answer them.
I know there was some questions in the chat, and for some reason my Zoom is not showing me the chat currently. So Sam, you may have to dive in and get those questions. For some reason, it's not on my toolbar.
Okay, no worries. So Charlevoix does close in mid-October into November when we do our switch over to from summer to winter, when we swap out all the bikes and we swap them into skis and snowboards for the winter season. But you can absolutely book until the beginning of October, and these programs will happen all the way until September. What kind of mountain bikes are used? So we use Rocky Mountain bikes. If you do want to look them up, we'll happily post afterwards the link to like where to find them and what kind of bikes we use, but we do partner with Rocky Mountain.
They are the fat tire bikes as well, and they do make you do a skill course before allowing you on the mountain with it. So obviously, if you've seen Charlevoix before, if you go out our main terrace where our bike shop is, we have a little course directly in front of it, and that is right on the main side where the gondola is. So you can complete that course without, wiping out, which I did see some people wiping out. If you can complete that course, then they will allow you to take that bike up the mountain on the gondola with you.
Are they full suspension bikes or just fat bikes? We have both.
Yes.
And then there's also bikes for the kiddos. There is an age restriction for the kids. It is age 8 and over. How do folks get from Quebec City to Quebec Charlevoix? Okay, so great question. There's a couple different ways to get there. We don't offer transfer service from downtown Quebec City to Charlevoix. They will have to go back to the airport and pay for that transfer. However, we do suggest that they rent a car. There is so much to do in the region, and honestly, the car rentals aren't that expensive. We've done it a few times where we've driven the entire region from both Quebec City and from the airport itself, and it's awesome. It's definitely the way to do it and to be able to see everything. There is also the scenic train in Charlevoix that goes from Montmorency Falls, and there is a stop at Le Massif. However, it is not a commuter train. It is a scenic train. It is one where it's much easier to take it without luggage. You don't want to be lugging all of your bags up from the train station, up the hill. Don't do it. If you're going to do the scenic train, make sure that you're doing it with an actual station.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Sorry?
Sorry, I was just going to say on the scenic train, yeah, it's about 3 football fields from the train drop-off location to the resort, and it is directly uphill. So just keep that in mind. And as far as the driving goes, especially for this season, I did it last September. So if you have people that are leaving in the fall, honestly, it's probably one of the best drives I've done. This sea to sky, it, it is. We left on September 25th. It was red as we were coming in. It was burnt orange and yellow as we were going out. It's a beautiful drive. So that's what I recommend, especially because with Bay St. Paul being about 15 minutes away, it's nice to have the ability to kind of go into town there. It's a beautiful drive along the shoreline into Bay St. Paul as well. We actually saw whales from the car, which was pretty crazy. So heavily recommend that option.
Which usually doesn't happen. The whales are much further up. They're about 2 hours away. So for Tyler and Debbie to be able to see those, that was pretty wild. If folks are driving, what is the cost to park, or is it included? So there's two different things you can do. You can park in the outdoor lot. That is free, and then it is about, I'd say, 100-meter walk to get to the village itself, which is fine. If you do want to park indoors, you can do that as well. It's roughly about $25 Canadian per night, and you can pre-book that. Just be careful if you're coming in like with any sort of trailers or anything like that. People do park those in the outdoor lots, but you're fine going in with like trucks and SUVs and, of course, sedans.
Yeah, I would heavily recommend for the summer season at least, just going with the outdoor. It's not far. You can obviously pull up and drop your luggage off when you arrive and then continue down and park there. In the winter, it's different when we're getting those minus 20 to 30 degree temperatures, but in the summer, spring, it's a very manageable walk.
Yeah, it's totally manageable. Yes, it is free, and it is about that 100 meters away.
Yeah.
How long do you suggest that folks usually stay? This is a good question, and it does depend where they're coming from. So if we're looking at the Ontario market, if it's fly or drive-in, I'd say at least 4 nights, 3 to 4 nights. If you're coming from Western Canada, 5 nights, 6 nights. And then the other cool thing is that you can really start to customize your stay here. So if you wanted to see more of the St. Lawrence corridor, that Eastern Canadian corridor as well, you can stay at different places and tack in Charlevoix as part of your stay. Or then again, like I was saying before, use Charlevoix as a pre or post cruise stop. So if you're doing any Canada, New England cruises that leave from Quebec City, 100% do that. Your clients are probably going to want to stay in Quebec anyways for a few days to see it. So why not tack on that minimum 2 nights? And are all meals included daily? Yes, of course they are. Everything is all inclusive. Every single one of our properties, fully all inclusive with your meals, your drinks. Everything is going to be there for you. The only thing you're paying any sort of additional for is any of that ancillary product that you can make additional commission on. All right. Don't forget, guys, summer is also a great time to bring in groups into Charlevoix. So if you're looking to do any sort of wellness groups, if you want to do mountain biking groups, bring them in. This is the prime time for them to go. Okay.
Thinking about the meals was about people going out with the car. So yes, obviously if you're leaving the resort and you're in Bay St. Paul or any of the other surrounding areas, it is kind of your standard boutique meal prices. Like Bay St. Paul, when we were there, we actually did lunch at a little coffee shop. I think I paid $8 for a coffee and a sandwich. So it's pretty standard.
Yeah, it's quite standard, and definitely go check it out. But that would be on your own. Anything that you're tasting outside of the property, that's not going to be included.
I think I spent $100 at the candy store. So
I could easily spend $100 in that candy store.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Okay, but if there's any more questions at all, please feel free to reach out to Tyler or I. We're happy to help you out. But once again, this is recorded. We will be putting it on Facebook, and make sure that if you did join us today as well, pop on there and put your answer on there too, so we can see that you were listening and you know what's going on. With that, again, field testing question: what are the 3 festivals that are going to be happening during the Elevation program in Charlevoix? All right. And that's it for us today. Thanks, Tyler.
Thanks, Sam. I'll see you guys later. Take care.
See ya, everybody.